Hello, and welcome to day 18 of 21 of our 21-day weight loss challenge. Today, I want to really speak to about sustainability of incorporating a healthy habit, be it eating or any other habit, into your life. And I really think it's important that you understand we're all individuals. We all have different struggles and obstacles and thoughts and beliefs and feelings about things. And there's not going to be one hard, fast rule that everyone needs to follow. But just know that as long as we keep taking steps in the right direction, that is my friend, considered such a success that we need to celebrate it. So let's talk about a few different ways. So when we look at eating a whole food plant-based diet, maybe it's as simple as just adding in one fruit a day or one vegetable with each meal every day, or eating, a small amount of beans, or maybe it's a salad. Whatever that needs to look like for you, that's one way to start. I have other patients who've incorporated, you know, moving into a whole food plant-based diet over the course of a few weeks. So maybe they start the first week with breakfast. Again, that seems to be the easiest food to transition to completely whole plant-based or whole food plant-based. The other one, then the next week they would go to breakfast and lunch. And then the third week, they're doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The other thing is that you really want to make sure that you're encompassing flavors and foods that you enjoy. And so remember, food is meant to be enjoyed. It's a very social thing. It also needs to be easy. We don't want to be following these really fancy, complicated recipes unless that's your thing. I'm not saying that you can't, but sometimes that can be really hard for people, especially if they have a lot of other demands on their time. So we need to be sensitive to time because we don't want this to be stressful. So the more stress that you put upon yourself, or judging yourself, or not following a particular dogma or set of rules, the harder it is going to be to maintain and sustain. So remember, at the end of the day, this is about doing something for you and loving your body and loving yourself and feeding your health, right? Because we know that the healthier you are, not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, the more present you are going to be available to do the things that you love, be with the people that you love, and do and live a life that means something to you. And so, one other suggestion would be to consider thinking about, what can I do that I already eat something? What can I do to make it healthier, right? So let's say that we eat pizza. You love pizza. It's like a family ritual, Friday night, pizza night, whatever. That's great. We're going to take pizza. What can we do to make the pizza healthy, right? So maybe instead of using the animal-based cheeses and all the meats and stuff, maybe we throw in tons of vegetables and some nutritional yeast, or nooch as it's called. Give that a shot. If that's still too much on the healthy side, maybe you just throw in a little bit of vegan cheese. That's okay. Again, there's no judgment here. It's just moving into a direction where you're encompassing more plants into your life. And any healthy behavior really needs to be taken in this type of fashion. Some people can just jump all in. I did personally. I went overnight plant-based. Now, was it a perfect whole food plant-based diet in the beginning? No. We utilized, back then, that was like 12 years ago, some like little frozen of those little meat substitutes. They weren't all that tasty, but I had plenty of spices. But that was enough for me to get started and feel like I was building my snowball. So as I start rolling the snowball and it starts rolling, getting bigger and bigger, I was able to make a full transition and stick with it now for 12 years. And of course, as I'm learning, I was making healthier and healthier choices, and then educating patients on the same thing. So that's really important, that you want to start small if you need to. Sometimes people can start a little bit bigger, but keep it simple. So time sensitive, simplicity. And if you start developing any friction or feeling stressed about it, just sit down and kind of think about it. Why am I? Why am I resisting this? Why am I stressing about this? Because at the end of the day, the more you have resistance and you're feeling that, you're going to find that your willpower to make these changes will erode, and then you'll just give up. And that's a very common human trait. And it's okay. It's just the way us mucky, crazy humans are. We're difficult and complicated beings, and that's the beauty of it. So let me get up. Remember, I have the PDF you can download. I'm going to pull it up here real quick and go over a few different things on action steps. So one thing about changing your diet and maintaining a healthy eating pattern is really planning. So you've all heard this saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So there's a few things you can do. For the action step, you want to maybe consider choosing a meal planning app. It could be a piece of paper and a pencil. It could be a like, grocery list. It could be a calorie tracker. It doesn't matter. You really want to try different foods. If you maybe have a line of menus or recipes that you eat regularly, then maybe swap one out if you like diversity. But if some other people just like to continue on their particular food, that's fine too. Write down what you want to eat or plan to buy at the grocery store. That makes it easier because if you have a checklist, you're less likely to go down adventure hunting and looking for a new treasure down each aisle. And maybe eat a healthy snack before you leave. Some really interesting research showing that if you eat a healthy snack before going shopping, you make healthier choices. Makes sense. And then really it's just think about meal prepping, right? Is there anything you can do when you have a more um, amount of time, maybe on a Sunday afternoon or some evening that's quiet, and prep any type of heavier utilized foods like a grain or beans or something like that, and keep that in the fridge so that it has easy access. And so there's just some ideas there for you. Maybe you prefer to buy foods that have already been pre-cut and pre-washed. That's okay too. Whatever you can do to make less friction in sustaining this pattern of eating that you've embraced. So, what is the writing exercise? Remember, the whole point of the writing exercise is for us to force us to sit down with our brains and reflect because we don't do that enough. We numb out looking through our phone, we numb out watching television or watching a movie, and we just don't sit to think and reflect on what's important to us, what are our values, and why are we doing what we're doing. Let's really hone in and change some of those behaviors. Let's just call it thinking time. And that is a wonderful thing to do. It doesn't have to be meditation, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just sit to reflect, write down some things, and learn from it. Learn what's right for you. So, anyway, the writing exercise is really just reflecting on the meal planning process. So, you might want to do a few things. You could, maybe reflect on planning the process analysis, detail your meal planning process. Did you find it enjoyable, challenging? Did that cause friction? Maybe there's another way to do it. Maybe think about nutritional balance. Was there any particular foods that you're not seeing are you eating fruits, veggies, beans, whole grains, and nuts and seeds? If not, why not? Why are you not eating the beans? Are you getting a little too gassy? What can we do about that? Maybe we need to lower how quickly we're bringing in these really intense fiber foods. Certain things like certain raw vegetables and beans can be a little bit hard on a gut that's not been exposed to lots of fiber. And then really thinking about challenges and adaptations, right? So maybe you can identify some of the challenges that you're seeing. Where are you seeing that resistance? Write it down. Think about it. Discuss it in your head, write it down in how you're reflecting the feelings, and then just think about all the different things that come up as you're writing down. I'm feeling stressed about the time that it's taking this plant-based diet. If any grievances or struggles, or you're like, but I really want to because I, want to be there for, I want to, excuse me, improve my diabetes numbers so I can feel better and get off medications, or I want to lose weight so I feel better in my skin and can be more active with my kids because right now when I'm walking down the street I feel short of breath. All those things matter. So just write that out. Why are you feeling this struggle? Is it someone making some judgment, making a comment to you and you're internalizing it? Remember, the really important thing here is, what is this for you? Why are you doing this? What is your value? Why are you doing this? I'm hoping it's out of love for yourself so that you can be there for not only yourself, but others in your life, right? At the end of the day, we're not going to care how much money we have, everything that we've done, whatever our achievements were. It's going to be those relationships that we've had and the impact that we've had on lives and the opportunity that we have to influence someone. You just don't know the consequences and the ripple effect that occurs. So I know that's kind of a big kind of going around in a circle, different thing I'm talking about here, but I just really wanted to emphasize how important it is to understand why you're doing something, and don't let others' opinions or decisions or expectations change in what you are feeling very strongly is right for you. It's really important. And then sustainability considerations. Okay, so maybe you've embraced this whole food plant-based diet and you've been going gung ho for a whole week. Well, okay, can you keep up that pace? Let's be realistic. If you're finding that your things are kind of structured and falling apart, now it's becoming a place of judgment and shame because, man, I really want to do this whole food plant-based diet. I was telling everybody as I'm doing it. Now I'm just tired and frustrated, and they told me I couldn't do it, so I'm just not going to do it. I failed yet again. Stop right there. Stop the circle and circling around the drain, right? With this really negative talk. Let's change the situation and start asking why. Turn into those feelings and say, why am I struggling so hard? Who in my life is making comments and why are they saying them? Maybe if you take the approach of asking questions about why someone might be having the perspective they will, maybe you'll come up with some answers and help you understand how you need to respond. And maybe you won't feel so much pressure on yourself to meet their expectations. Because again, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what you're placing on the end of your fork and putting into your body. Now, as a parent, of course, there's some little people that need you to make decisions and stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, it's you who's looking back in the mirror, and I need you to make those decisions based on your values and your desires and your goals and what you feel right for you in your life at this time. And I'm hoping it encompasses a lot more plants because a plant based diet has been shown to be very, very healthy. And again, there's no perfect rules of everything has to be just right every single time. Now, if you're really, really sick, we might be a little bit more pushy and trying to be a little bit more compliant. But again, it's a journey. It's just a journey, and it's your journey. So I hope that was helpful. It was such a joy to, well, talk to you today. I hope someone resonated with that message. And I will be back tomorrow with day 19 of 21. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Take care.